All right, so you've got $100 in a trading account. And let's be real, the dream is to double it, like this week, and then tell your boss you're out of there, right? Well, here's the thing. That exact dream, that rush to get rich quick, that is precisely why most new traders get wiped out. So today, we're going to tear down that thinking and build up the mental framework that separates the gamblers from the pros. The mindset that can actually turn that small account into a real fortune. So here's the game plan. We're going to walk through 5 key ideas. First, we'll tackle that get-rich-quick trap. Then we'll get into the, honestly, shocking math of slow growth. After that, it's all about the 2 pillars, patience and detachment. Then we'll cover the absolute necessity of adaptation. And finally, we're going to flip the script on how you see that small account, turning it into your greatest advantage. Okay, first up, let's dive right into the biggest, most common hurdle. I'm talking about that gambler's mentality that just absolutely destroys most traders before they even have a fighting chance. You know that feeling, that urge to double your account in a week? Yeah, that's not a trading strategy. That's buying a lottery ticket. It's all about chasing these massive, high-risk bets, completely fueled by anxiety, watching your account balance swing up and down like a yo-yo. It's a guaranteed recipe for burnout and ultimately for disaster. And this really breaks it down. Look at the difference here. On one side, you've got the get-rich-quick mode. That's all about high adrenaline, thinking in terms of days, not years. It feels exciting for a minute, sure, but it is totally unsustainable. Then you look at the other side, the compounding mindset. We're talking slow, consistent growth, high discipline. This is about building a real foundation, not just chasing that next dopamine hit from a lucky trade. So if that's the trap, what's the way out? Well, it's what we call the compounding mindset. And it's built on a simple, powerful belief. Slow, consistent growth will beat fast, reckless gains every single time. Adopting this way of thinking is going to completely change how you look at that small account of yours. Think about it like this. A professional trader doesn't see that $100 as a lottery ticket they might lose. No, they see it as a seed. And what do you do with the seed? You plant it, you water it, you protect it. You don't dig it up every single day to see if it's sprouting, right? In trading, that means your number one job is to protect your capital. It means resisting that dangerous urge to just make trades out of sheer boredom. So let's just imagine for a second your goal was a mere 5% growth per week. On $100, what is that? $5. I mean, most impatient traders would literally laugh at that $5. But stick with me because this is where the magic really starts to happen. Just look at these numbers. That tiny, almost laughable 5% a week, when you let it compound, the result is absolutely shocking. You start with $100. In about a year and a half, you're at 1,000. In about 3 years, you hit 10,000. And in less than 5 years, that little $100 account is knocking on the door of $100,000. The process never changes. Only the zeros at the end of the numbers. See, time, not speed, is the most powerful force you have. So you really have to ask yourself, what do you actually want? Do you want 6 months of those crazy dopamine hits followed by soul-crushing frustration? Or do you want 6 months of disciplined work that leads to real, actual, sustainable growth? That choice, right there, is what will define your entire trading journey. Now, I know what you're thinking. Compounding sounds great on paper. Looks amazing on a chart, but actually doing it, that's the hard part. It requires you to master 2 absolutely crucial psychological skills. Think of these as the pillars that hold up everything else we're talking about. The first pillar is something I call ruthless patience. And no, this isn't just sitting around bored waiting for something to happen. It's an active decision. It's the conscious choice to protect your capital. It's having the mental strength to do absolutely nothing when your perfect A-plus setup isn't on the screen. You have to remember, sometimes not placing a trade is the best trade you can make. I want you to picture a lion lying perfectly still in the tall grass. It's not chasing every little mouse or every shadow that moves. No, it's conserving its energy, it's waiting, watching, and when the perfect opportunity, the real meal, presents itself, it strikes with absolute precision. That is how a professional trader operates. Okay, the second pillar is detachment. And this is a big one. It's about how you view your losses. For a professional, a losing trade isn't a personal attack. It's not a sign you're a failure. It's just a business expense. Think about it. A restaurant owner expects to have some food waste. It's a calculated cost of doing business. For a trader, small, managed losses are the exact same thing. They're just part of the process. And this quote from a pro trader just nails it. He said,
I stopped needing the market to make me feel good. I just needed it to follow the math. Wow. Think about that. He completely removed his ego and his emotions from the equation. He was just executing his plan, a plan based entirely on probability, not on a need for validation.
But here's the catch. Even if you master patience, there's another trap waiting for you: being too rigid. You have to understand, the market is like a living, breathing creature, and it absolutely punishes people who refuse to adapt. And that brings us to our next essential skill. And this is such a critical distinction to make: the difference between consistency and stubbornness. Consistency is a good thing. It's about applying your core principles, like solid risk management, day in and day out. But stubbornness? That's when you marry a single strategy and refuse to change it, even when the market is screaming at you that things are different now. One of these builds fortunes. The other one blows up accounts. It's that simple. So what's the biggest enemy of adaptation? It's your ego. Simple as that. Your ego cares more about being right than it does about being profitable. It's the little voice in your head that keeps you in a losing trade way too long, just because you can't stand to admit you were wrong. A professional trader couldn't care less about being right. They only care about being profitable. And then there's a whole other level to this, a more advanced form of adaptation. And that's adapting not just to the market, but to yourself. A truly elite trader knows their own mental state. They know when they're focused, sharp, and in the zone, and they know when they're tired, distracted, or emotional. And they adjust their trading, or even stop trading completely, based on those internal conditions. All right, let's put all these pieces together. It's time to completely transform the way you think about that small number sitting in your trading account. So here they are, the 4 cornerstones of a millionaire mindset. You've got the compounding mindset, which lets you play the long game. You have ruthless patience, so you can wait for your absolute best opportunities. You practice emotional detachment, so you can treat this like a real business. And finally, relentless adaptation, because you have to evolve to survive. This right here is the mental foundation you need to build. And this brings us to the single most important mindset shift of all. The average person sees a $100 account as a limitation. They think, I can't make any real money with this. But the professional sees that same $100 account as their greatest asset. Why? Because it's the perfect training ground. It's where you master discipline, patience, and risk control before there's big money on the line. You've got to burn this into your brain. How you treat $100 is exactly how you will treat $100,000. The habits you build now with a small account are the very same habits you'll need to manage a large one. If you can learn to respect the 100, you're building the muscle memory to respect 100,000. The game doesn't change, only the size of the scoreboard. So there you have it. You have the framework now, and the choice is entirely yours. Are you going to keep seeing yourself as a gambler with the small stake, just hoping for that one lucky win? Or are you going to start seeing yourself as a professional in training, using that small account to forge the disciplined mindset of a future millionaire?